Welcome everybody. Keywording and rating photographs. But before we learn how to keyword and rate photographs, it's really important to understand how we classified keywording. Keywording is part of what we call metadata, and keywording is done in the library module after you've imported your images. Today's lab asks you to keyword several pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and work on images in my sample folder. These are images that I've given all of you. You can certainly choose to keyword any images you choose, either my samples or your images. Over on the right-hand side, in the development module, I'm going to bring forward the keyword dialog box in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to point out the metadata dialog box. There are two kinds of metadata, EXIF and IPTC. Exif and IPTC. Exif metadata is device metadata, so data that comes off of your camera or that comes off of your scanner. Let's see what kinds of EXIF data are located on my image. You need to select just one image. If you select more than one image, it gets confused. So here I have this image selected, and it tells me the file name, the pixel size, the time it was captured, and then the time I worked on it. It also tells me my exposure information, the focal length of my lens, the ISO, and the type of camera that I was using. And at this point in time, if you have any presets, a couple labs ago we said it might also show up in there. But primarily metadata, EXIF metadata, is anything that your camera keeps track of. And cameras can keep track of a lot of different kinds of things these days. If you're using a scanner to scan film, the scanner also has EXIF information it will attach to the file. So this can't really be controlled. It comes with the file. IPTC data is user-generated metadata. So metadata that you, as the producer, adds onto your file. And you can see that included in that are the list of things that we added as a preset a couple weeks ago. We put our creator information, our city, our state, our phone number, or our email address. And some of you might have added other things, including a copyright logo. And you can see this is generated from my preset. It shows me right here. And so I can reapply the preset on this image. If I forgot to apply it on import, but it was created, I can find it from the drop-down and apply it here. Okay? Another part of IPTC user-generated metadata lives here under keywording. Keywords include who, what, when, and where. Proper nouns should be capitalized. There is spell check you can use if you're not very strong at spell checking. And the decision of what kinds of keywords to enter really depends on you and how you're organizing your database. I recommend a minimum of 5 keywords, if not more. Who, what, when, and where. And by who, what, when, and where, I mean enter in anything that might be searchable and important that your camera can't record. So your camera already records date and time, so that's not important. But seasons, fall, winter, spring, summer, months, October, November, December, January, year, location, San Francisco, California, etc., etc. So to enter in a keyword, I click on the image, and there are a lot of different ways to do keywording, but one of the ways is to click on the image and simply type and separate by a comma. And you can see that it's smart. If you've entered in a keyword before, it will help you finish it. Fall, Photography Museum, And I'm separating my keyword by commas and spaces, but you can also use semicolons. You can also enter in the keywords down here and hit return, and they'll automatically add themselves in alphabetical order to the top within the keyword dialog box. Over time, as you add more keywords, you're going to have suggestions. So Lightroom keeps track of the last 9 keywords or the most popular keywords that were used, and you can implement them by clicking once, and then the keyword is added. There's also something called keyword sets. Keyword sets are presets that save up to 9 different keywords. So these presets shipped with Lightroom. Here's an outdoor preset. I can click on landscape, and that gets added up to the top here. So if I wanted to make a special set just for the George Eastman house, because I had a lot of pictures, I would choose Edit Set. I could make some changes to these. Tab over, Winter. You could change all 9 of these, and then I could choose Save the current settings as a new preset. And hit change, and now that is a preset in keywords. For this lab, you're going to be concentrating on just using this box to simplify things. So you'll be adding things here and hitting the return button. The other helpful part of keywords is the keyword list. This shows me every single keyword in my database right here. The check mark next to it indicates which keyword is assigned to this particular image, and then it tells me how many pictures I have of that particular keyword. So if I click on the ocean arrow right here, it filters and shows me all 10 of the pictures that have the keyword ocean. This is a very powerful way for you to sort your images. I can click off to the right-hand side and see all of the images that have the keyword California on them. I can also go up to my library filter and do a search by text. Any searchable field that contains all the words California. So a searchable field would include that of our keywords, and I can hit return, and you see that all the images California are returned. I can also hit red car, and all the images with the keyword red car, here it is, are listed. So this is really the power of metadata. The power of metadata is linked to the database or the library of Lightroom, allowing you to find pictures into Lightroom. The very first thing that we do is add metadata. It's time consuming, or it can be time consuming, but you can also automate it. For example, this image of the red car, if I were to spend a lot of time entering in the appropriate keywords, mountains, I could click on this image that already has the keywords added to it, and Apple click on the other images and choose to sync my metadata. Syncing metadata migrates all of the information from this image onto the others. You just want to be careful what you synchronize. I definitely want my copyright and my creative information to come over, but I also want my keywords to come over, and I'm going to choose synchronize. So very, very quickly, all of the keywords that were on this image are now added to these images. Pretty cool. So in the lab today, there are many different ways to add keywords into Lightroom. I just went over a few. It's important to add keywords and star ratings to your photographs in order to use Lightroom's powerful filtering features in the database, like I showed you up top, the library filter. With the proper use of keywords and stars, finding your photographs becomes quick and easy. With ignoring the keyword process, your ability to find pictures becomes painful and profoundly unhappy. Keywording and rating are vital pieces of maintenance in your Lightroom catalog, can continue to grow into the hundreds and thousands. I'll show you about star ratings in a minute. Part 1 is all about keywording. choose a group of 20 related photographs that need keywording. Add a minimum of 5 to 10 keywords to each photograph. But remember, you can do this quickly if you choose images that share keywords and choose to synchronize them. Practice creating a keyword set to save keywords as a preset for the future use. When you've successfully completed part 1, show me your library screen in the grid mode with the keyword panel selected and create a screen capture, just like this. Command-Shift-4. Add this screen capture with all your pictures and your keywords showing into a folder called yourlastname_lab6. And then wait. Add the next part before you turn it in. Okay, so part 1 is all about keywording. Practicing adding keywords. Part 2 is using the rating lab. Using the same group of 20 pictures, use the 0 through 5 numeric keys at the top of your keyboard, not off to the right-hand side, but at the top, to add stars and ratings to your images. Work in the loop view in the library module. If you do the rating while you have the caps locks key turned on, your photos will automatically advance to the next image. Okay, and let's talk about that. And when you're done, you'll take another screen grab. This time the stars are going to show up. Put it in your lab_6. Name it your last name rating. Put both the keyword file and the rating file into a folder and turn it in to class. Okay? So what you turn in today should look like this. It should be a folder with your name on it. Okay? And your last name, first initial keywording, last name, first initial rating. And put this in the Dropbox, yourlastname_lab6. So why do we rate images? Well, I could go to all of my pictures and quickly assign first, second, and third place is how I like to describe it. So very quickly describe first, second, and third place. Oops, I turned the lights out here. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go to all photographs. And I can't see all my pictures. Even though I click on photographs and I keep trying to go to the library, they're not showing up. Do you know why? Because I have red car selected still. So I need to choose none. I need to turn my filter off in order to see all of my pictures. So I'm going to double click on this picture. And you can give your images a rating by clicking down here. You want to make sure that you have your tools palette open. T is for tools, okay? And make sure that the rating system is checkmarked. Okay, so I can do it here, and I can also, this is my filter. I sort. I need to give it a rating here. So I generally only use 3 stars versus 5. 5 is really if you have a lot of pictures. So I will give it a 1 star if it's you know, a bronze, a 2 star if it's silver, and a 3 star if it's a gold. And I will give images that I want to delete the X for throw it in the trash. So here's an example. I'm using the keyboard on my Mac here. It's faster than clicking on the interface, but you can do either one. And remember how we said if the caps lock key was on, as soon as I rate image number 1, it's going to automatically advance the film strip for me. So that's kind of handy. So you can choose the ratings. Systems 1 through 3. 3. I like these car pictures. These are 2s. With the caps locks on, it advances the image. If that's too hard to remember, you can move back and forth between the loop mode and the grid mode to see images. And then you can see their key ratings here. Or I'm sorry, their star ratings, which is very handy. So star ratings are handy for when we want to sort things into what we call smart collections, because we can automatically create a collection out of all of our 3-star images and put them into a nice pile. So that's really handy. The other thing that we've got over here is color coding. So for example, if there are images I know I want to print, I can select the images for print and maybe color code those purple. Or if there are ones that I know I want to bring into Photoshop later to do selective edits on, I can turn those a color. So colors are optional. I find them to be helpful for special things, but you definitely want to assign ratings to your images. 1 through 3 is what I recommend. Now I also talked about the X rating. X assigns a reject flag to images. It also grays them out. You see that? So any image that I know I want to delete and put in the trash, I give it an X. And this would be images that are just really, really out of focus or are very, very poorly exposed. I might give an X to. So importing your images into Lightroom and Xing them out ensures that you're not going to re-import them in again later. A lot of you have trouble with duplicating imports. After I'm done Xing out the ones I don't want, I can go to Photo, and choose Delete the Rejected Photos for Good. So do not pre-edit your work in your operating system. Absolutely import every single picture into Lightroom, because it makes it so much easier to rate your images, keyword your images, and X out the ones that you want to delete for good. And then I'm going to choose Delete the Rejected Photos. I'll say Delete from the disk, and it'll say, are you sure? Because this one's going to get deleted permanently, and I'll say yes, permanently delete. And that way you won't have problems when you resync. You won't have problems with those pictures showing up again. So if you have any questions with Lab 6, remember Part 1 is all about keywords. Really look at this carefully. And Part 2 is all about rating. Any questions, raise your hand and let me know. You can find this video on the server or at the website ccsfphoto.wordpress.com in the tutorial section.